Special rest in peace to the wisest man I ever knew, my good brother Quan Lewis. I know you watching over me, King. You'll never be forgotten and you'll always be missed. Peace in paradise. Quan Lewis. Special rest in peace to my little cousin, Grant Brown. You'll always be missed and you'll never, ever be forgotten, bro. I love you and I miss you. Peace in paradise. What's up with your family? It's your boy, the one and only Brenda's baby, Remy El Ma'at. You are now tuned in to Ma'at TV. Most of y'all know the routine, but if you don't, remember to hit that like button as you come into the building. But most importantly, share this video. You definitely want to share this one because you see that right there? No, on the other side. You see that right there? This is what we about on this video. So share this video. You want to know why I got that Remy El Ma'at? You about to find out today. So share this video. If you're new to the channel, this your first time stopping by, rocking with your boy, do me a favor. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. But do yourself a favor. Hit that notification bell and make sure it's on all so you can be alerted and notified whenever I drop this heat. Okay, family, we're going to switch lanes today. We're going to get back into what I was originally doing when I came into the channel, when I came into the YouTube game. There's been some videos that I put up that had to do with race. The serious videos I did about race, here's how it all started. There was a situation with Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless. I don't know who you know. You have to look them up, do your own due diligence. Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless were arguing. Shannon Sharpe is a black football player, Hall of Fame football player. Skip Bayless is a skinny guy who never played a sport a day in his goddamn life, but he's a sports analyst. And Skip, I think Skip uses white privilege, and I think Shannon Sharpe bows down to it every time, and I express my opinion on it. And people were telling me that white privilege don't exist, racism, it wasn't part of our generation, racism don't exist today. I need to check my black privilege. There was a whole lot of that, and it was coming from white people. So it's time to check that. And also I put up a couple shorts, and this is what got my attention the most and got the most attention, because I'm getting hundreds of comments every day. Hundreds. I can't even look at them all. Dave Chappelle did a joke on the founding fathers. It was the founding fathers, and Eddie Griffin did a joke on black folks and Africans. The joke that David Chappelle did on the founding fathers, it was about them writing. He said, "Here's my impression on the founding fathers writing the." Hold on, let me find you. I didn't know.
I don't know why they mad at us. If anybody should be mad, we should be mad at theirs. You know what I'm saying? I give white people props on this. When y'all have hostages, y'all go get them. I don't give a fuck if it's two. You'll have meetings. Look here, Jim, Bob and Susie are trapped. It's over in the Middle East now. We're going to have to go over there. You sure you want to cause an international incident over two people? I don't give a good goddamn if it's one. They're white, we're white. By God, go get them. They're Americans. Bring them home.
They're Americans.
Technically,
they're white. Bring them home.
For 450 years.
Yeah.
Not one canoe with a nigga with a spear.
Okay, so this is one thing that they are commenting on constantly. I got 11,000 likes on it and 550 6 comments. Yeah. So first of all, it's a fucking joke. It's a joke. Let's just get that out. Let's just get that out the way. It's a joke. Grow the fuck up. And it's mostly white folks commenting on it, and it's like, bro, like, do you feel guilty about something? But anyway, let me fact check that, because there's a lot of people jumping on the comment section. There were some Africans that did try to fight to come free some of the slaves and get some of their people back. Allegedly. There are, if you do your research, you will find it somewhere. It's hard to find, but you will find it. There were some Africans that did try to come over here, but still, it's funny. It's funny.
Has shown up to pick us the fuck up.
You better be careful there, little buddy.
Now let's just get this out the way too. That is a slogan. I have a lot of people commenting at the bottom of that, talking about some who's the guy at the end? What am I being careful for? It's a fucking slogan. You don't notice them at the end of every video?
George Washington's the worst of the worst. Yes, I said it. You mythologize this motherfucker like he was the greatest dude, man. If I went back in time with a white person and we saw George Washington walking in front of our time machine, my white friend would probably be like, oh my God, Dave, look, there's George Washington, the father of this great nation. I'm gonna go shake his hand. I'd be on the other side like, run, nigga, George Washington. And we'd both be right. You like him because he wrote the Declaration of Independence and all that shit. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. Go get me a sandwich, or I'll kill you. Liberty, justice for all. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Wait a minute, did he not own slaves? Didn't he own slaves? That's all I'm saying.
You better be careful there, little buddy.
Now, let's get this out the way again. Again, people, a fucking joke. What are you butthurt about? They narrowed in on the fact that George Washington didn't write the Declaration of Independence, and then skipped over everything else that was true. Narrowed in on that part. Oh, he didn't write that part. Dave Chappelle needs to do his homework. Oh, this, that, and the third. Bro, George Washington was one of the worst of the worst. He was raping the shiznick out of slaves. Allegedly. He was a... Let me shut up. I'm gonna just give y'all the facts. Yourself. I had people comment under here. Let's see some of these comments. Ain't nobody tell him that George Washington ain't write the Declaration of Independence. Poor Dave don't even know his history. Narrowed in on the fact that he didn't write the Declaration of Independence, but skipped over the part that he owned slaves. There's books on him hunting and chasing slaves that he could never catch. It was this one slave that he hunted from. He chased this motherfucker to hell and back. I don't think he caught the slave, but he chased this motherfucker from hell to hell and back. We're gonna get into that. So I was getting comments.
You know how you know white people are crazy? Listen to their music.
Let's go to some of my videos about white privilege and see some of the comments that I was getting. So I just watched a video of a man be called a racist white liberal because he didn't have the same political views. He didn't want to teach his daughter about same-sex marriage. And he didn't want to teach his daughter about transsexuals. So he was called a racist liberal. You guys called Donald Trump a racist for 4 years. You still call him a racist to this very day. Somebody, I got comments under here. One comment said Donald Trump isn't a racist. I mean, hold on. It says that's not racism. Donald Trump values. Donald Trump is racist. is double talking. Like, there's a whole lot of double talking going on when it comes to the racism. You can call Donald Trump a racist, but then when black folks say, my whole point of this video that I just did right here is saying, you call Donald Trump a racist, but when black folks speak about racism, you tell us that racism don't exist anymore. Which is it? It's double talking, because you when you want to call Donald Trump a racist, it exists. It exists. It totally exists. But when black folks talk about it, racism don't exist. It never existed. I mean, well, it don't exist today. And I had some comments talking about how slavery don't affect anybody today, and none of my parents or people were slaves. So let's do the numbers on this shit, because people want to act like the shit wasn't that was thousands of years ago, like it didn't happen in our time, you know, like it's not a modern situation. So let's go into the history. Hold on, okay, now let's get into these comments about because we hear this a lot from people. Slavery doesn't affect anybody today. Your parents weren't slaves. You weren't slaves. But my great-grandparent could have been a slave. You don't believe me? Let's check this out. Let's look at the facts. Just saying, okay, so let's look at this right here. This is telling us that people believe that Thomas Edison invented motion picture in 1981. But it was invented by this guy named August and Louis Augustine, I think. August, I don't know. There's some weird, look like it's a European, some European name. I don't know. It's weird. I'm not going to sit here and act like I can pronounce or read that shit. It's weird. But it was invented by these two other people in 1985. So the motion picture was invented in 1985. Now let's do the math on that. That was only 128 years ago, okay? The motion picture was invented 128 years ago. So, you know, there was people that the average lifespan is 80 to 100 years old. So that's my mom and her grandma. That's two lifetimes. That's my mom and her mom. Possibly. That's not that, let's see, that's still in the same, you know, time frame. Okay? With that being said, I want you to take a look at these videos. Now, this video right here is a short of a couple who were slaves, cotton pickers, and they're going to talk about a quick video. It's only a short about what they used to do. Now, keep in mind, this is a motion picture. When did motion pictures come out? 1895. Let that marinate. Before it goes up there, I want y'all to let that marinate. This is a motion picture. Hold on, wrong video. This is a motion picture. So let that marinate. This is a motion picture. But let them tell it. None of our people were slaves. None of our people picked cotton. Let's hear what he has to say.
He work hard.
I work hard. I get up at 4 o'clock and get my breakfast done. Just at dawn of day, I go to the field and we pick cotton.
Mr. and Mrs. Haywood Jenkins of Shawnee County, Mississippi have, between them, picked cotton for over a century.
Between the both of them, they picked cotton for a century. Listen what that said. Between the both of them,
Mr. and Mrs. Haywood Jenkins of
they
Shawnee
picked cotton
County,
for a
Mississippi
century.
have, between them, picked cotton for over a century.
Let's go to some other slaves talking about their time in the fields. Matter of fact, let's go to the slaves real
But
quick.
John Henry Falk
Let's see what they got to say.
experienced the most profound effect. He was a graduate student when he interviewed the former
Fair
slaves,
use.
including the two
This is for
women
educational
here in
purposes.
this broadcast. Himself interviewed just before he died in 1979, Falk was going on about how he believed in giving blacks the right to go to school, giving them the right to vote, giving them the right to go into anything they qualified for. And then he said he experienced an epiphany.
Y'all act like it didn't see. Look, these are pictures, motion pictures. Some of them motion pictures. And this is a slave owner talking about blacks having the right to just be civilized people, go to school, get an education. It wasn't that long ago. The woman who was refused. Remember that picture of what's his name? That was the, I think it's the Dallas Cowboys coach. What's that NFL coach or a sports owner? He owns a team. He was in the picture, denying the little girl, black girl, going into school. She's still alive. The first black girl that entered a white school is still alive. I just saw her do a video. She's alive and kicking. She's doing quite well for herself. She don't even look that old. She ain't not even that old.
Black man. And was telling him what a different kind of white man I was. I remember him looking at me very sadly and kind of sweetly and condescending and said, you know, you still got the disease, honey. I know you think you're cured, but you're not cured. You can't give me the right to be a human being. I'm born with that right. Now you can keep me from having that if you've got all the policemen and all.
That's not privilege. We had to fight for our right to be a human being. The Constitution stated that we were 3/5 of a man. 3/4 of a human being. The only original human being on this planet was considered 3/4 of a human being. And still today, we are seeing some of these same actions. They're just performed differently. They're executed differently.
The job's on your side. You can deprive me of it, but you can't give it to me.
See, back then, it was out open in your face racism. We not serving you. We're not giving you anything. Now it's, no, we deny your credit. No, we deny your loan. Whoop, whoop. License and registration, please. I feel threatened. Pow, pow.
And I was born with it just like you was. My God, it had a profound effect on me. I was furious with him. But the more I reflected on it, the more profoundly it affected me. And I realized this was where it really was.
Tell you the truth, when I think of it today, I don't know how I'm living.
I remember that this is well look like to me, I think.
Been slaves all our lives, and mother was a slave, sister was a slave, father was a slave.
They know enough about reading like that.
And right now, these are slaves talking. He said, my mother was a slave, my sister was a slave, my father was a slave. These are slaves talking. Okay, so when was audio recording invented? Now, let's do the math on that. I forgot to do that one. What year was audio recording invented? So audio recording was invented in 1877. Let's do the math on that one. Audio recording was invented in 1877. Let's do the math on that one. And you can do the math at home if you don't believe the numbers I'm producing. That was only 146 years ago. That's my mom and her mom lifetime. These are slaves talking about their experience in slavery and what they had to go through.
It was. My God, it had a profound effect on me. I was furious with him. But the more I reflected on it, the more profoundly it affected me. And I realized this was where it really was.
Tell you the truth, when I think of today, I don't know how I'm living.
I remember that just as well look like to me, I can.
Been slaves all our lives, and mother was a slave.
Been slaves all our lives, mother was a slave.
They know us about reading right there. All that I know, they teach you to mind the master and the mission. Mama didn't know where to go. She after she was just like this.
The part that breaks my heart is the man saying, we were slaves all our lives. My mother was a slave. My father was a slave. My sister was a slave. That breaks my heart, man.
Look like to me, I can.
Been slaves
We were slaves all our lives.
all our lives, and
My mother was a slave.
sister,
My sister was a slave.
father was a slave.
My father was a slave.
They know us about reading right there. All that I know, they teach you to mind the master and the mission.
Said we can't learn to read and write. The only thing they teach us is to mind your master and your missus. I want y'all to let that marinate, y'all. Let that marinate. Because this is a serious situation. Now, I'm a funny guy, apparently. People tell me that. But this is serious, man. Because the more we keep acting like it never existed, and it was thousands of years ago, and it doesn't affect the people today, the more it gets swept under the rug. And the more the history is going to be changed, altered, or deleted.
They go and see after she was just like you turn to a mountain, anywhere to go.
They are haunting voices from the past, not actors reading a script or scholars reading a text.
Okay, now let's see when the photograph was invented. When were photographs invented? Okay, photography was invented 1826. Let's do the numbers on that. 2023 minus 1826. I was only 197 years ago. About two lifetimes. And who knows when these pictures were taken, but it had to be taken within the last 200 years. That's two lifetimes. That's my mom, her mom. Do you still think it was that long ago?
But the actual voices of men and women, Americans, who were born in slavery.
My name is Fountain Hughes. I was born in Charlottesville, Virginia. My grandfather belonged to Thomas Jefferson. My grandfather...
His name is Fountain Hughes. His grandfather belonged to Thomas Jefferson. Did you hear what he said? He didn't say his grandfather worked for Thomas Jefferson. His grandfather belonged to Thomas Jefferson.
Father was 115 years old when he died.
His grandfather was 15 years old. Prime example. That's a lifetime. 100 years is only one life.
And now I am 101 years old.
He lived to be 101 years old. Need I say more? Colored people did not have no beds when they were slaves. They slept on the floor. They ate the worst of the worst. That's why we made chitlins. You know how chitlins came about? And chitlins were my favorite food before I stop eating pork. To be honest with you, I still sneak a couple bites of chitlin when I go to Thanksgiving. The year my grandma died, I had to get that last plate of chitlins that she made. We got it because they gave us, when they broke down the pig, they gave us the leftovers, the intestines and shit like that. And we were so creative that we whipped it up and turned it into something good. But we didn't do that on, that wasn't done by, because we liked it in the beginning. We like it now, but we didn't like it in the beginning. We were forced to eat that shit. We were trained to eat that shit. Okay, so let's go to another video. Well, we got a slave owner talking. This video was recorded, and the interview was done in 1929. 1929. Let's do the math. Let's do the math. "94 years ago, my grandma, my wife's grandma, she was alive. I'm pretty sure you got a grandparent, auntie, uncle that was alive. Somebody in your family was alive when this interview was done. But it don't affect us. It don't affect nobody today. We don't have to go into the psychology on how that trickles down. You can say, oh, it didn't trickle down if it was 1,000 years ago. You can even say 500 years ago. That's 4 or 5 lifetimes. That's 4 or 5 generations. But to say it doesn't trickle down from 1 or 2 generations, the effects of it, you might need to get your brain checked. You might need to check your privilege to think that doesn't trickle down. The effects of slavery and being brutally disrespected and tortured and all types of things, raped. All types of things were happening to us. You think that doesn't affect us today? You're out of your mind. I don't care what anybody thinks about it. You can have your opinion.
Oh, boys, I'm pleased to see you. I don't know where you come from, but I give you all the welcome I've got to offer you.
This is a slave owner. Rebecca was the last member of Congress to have been a slave owner. She was a government official and was a slave owner. The government officials owned slaves. So you mean to tell us that it wasn't economically set up for us to fail? You think the government officials were happy about giving up their slaves? Giving up their free labor? You think they were happy about that? Okay. The government officials had slaves. Don't you think that when they lost their slaves, they weren't pissed off and decided to pass laws to purposely punish us for not being able to get free labor from us? You think that didn't happen? You out of your fucking mind. They had the power to do it and nobody will say anything about it. You're out of your mind if you think they didn't do that. Nobody would. They got the power to pass laws to punish black folks because they can't get free labor out of them no more. And they can pass a law to punish them and nobody will say anything about it and they'll just get away with it. You think they didn't do that? You're out of your mind. The government officials I still can't wrap my mind around how people don't think that there weren't laws passed to purposely punish us. You know, there weren't things set in play to give other people a head start and to hold us back. And those things are still going on today. The government officials were slave owners. Okay, so let's get into this George Washington situation and the Founding Fathers, because I got into an argument with some of the people on the thing, and I said the same thing I said in the beginning. It's a fucking joke, you know. But if you want to be technical about it, all the Founding Fathers were slave owners, and they were the worst of the worst. Got into an argument about that, and you know how it is. So let's get into the Founding Fathers. Fair use, educational purposes. Now, this is a list of all the Founding Fathers who owned slaves. The presidents. Your presidents who owned slaves and how many slaves they owned. The president. I want to let that marinate. And you can argue, yeah, back in the day, slavery was the norm. And yes, we fully understand that. We understand slavery was the norm, and you know it was a normal thing. But you idolize these men and put these men up in statues as if they were great men. They were not great men. Any man who enslaves another race is not a great man. You participated in it. You're not a great man. These are not great men. You participated in the enslavement of a whole nother race. That's not great. That's not good people. Now let's look at this list. It says there were 12 presidents that owned slaves. George Washington. Now, George Washington, they did a DNA test. I remember back in the day, they did a DNA test, and pretty much every black person with the last name Washington. Pretty much everybody with the last name Washington are descendants of George Washington. People argue with me about George Washington. This nigga had a slave. He didn't even want to give up his slaves. He had one slave that he had 6 kids with. He didn't want to give her up. She wanted to get away. He didn't want to give her up. He had other slaves. Watch, you gonna see. You gonna see. Other slaves that he chased to hell and back. He had 317 slaves. And he had slaves while still being in office. Look. 317 slaves. And he had slaves while he was still in office. He allegedly you know how they had whorehouses. He allegedly died from the dirt and grime in those whorehouses. He allegedly did a lot of some things to slaves. Allegedly. George Jefferson. I'm going to just sit that right there. George Jefferson had 600 or more slaves. 600. What the fuck would you need? I don't even want to know. And he had them while he was in office. James Madison. 100 or more slaves while being president. That's 3 out of 3. James Monroe. 75. While in office. Andrew Jackson. 200 slaves while in office. He had 1 slave. He the only one. He probably the only president that has some sense of morality. Martin, I fucked with you, Martin. Even though you had 1 slave, you ain't have none while you was in office. Martin, the only one that, maybe he had some sense of morality. Henry Harrison had 11 slaves. Okay, he ain't had none in office. That's what's up. Still had some. Slaves. Yes. So only 2 or 3 of them didn't have slaves so far in the office. All the rest of them said, fuck that. I'm taking my slaves with me. All of them. Damn near all of them. It's only 2 or 3 of them that didn't have slaves in the office so far. Out of 12 of them. Okay, that's 3 or 4. Okay. Come on, this nigga wasn't Grant racist? No, he only had 1 slave and he ain't had none in office. That's what's up, Grant. So 12 presidents had slaves, and majority of those presidents, majority of them had slaves in the office. All right, now
we've tended to be.
Now let's look at George Washington. This video is about George Washington spending years looking for a slave that escaped. He ain't want to give his slaves up at all. At all. George Washington didn't want to give his slaves up, and he had 6 kids with one of his slaves. All of them had kids with slaves, allegedly. All of them.
George Washington, as the first president, did own slaves, as did his wife. At the time of his death, there were nearly 300 enslaved people living at Melbourne. So he was a large slaveholder. My name is Erica Armstrong Dunbar, and I'm the author of Never Caught, the Washington relentless
Never Caught
of their runaway slave, owner Judge. She was an enslaved woman. She was born at Mount.
Now, I think this was the woman. Now, don't get me to lying, but I think this was the woman that he had 6 kids with. He ain't want to give her up. He didn't want to give her up. So she got the fuck up out of there. And he chased her from hell and back. I tell you, that black woman, she put that hex on you. He had George Washington having a fit. Chased her to hell and back. I'm telling you, that black woman put that thing on you. She get to clapping them cheeks on you. It's a wrap. She put that thing on him and had that nigga sprung. Chased that girl from hell and back.
Vernon, sometime in 1773-74, around the era of the Revolution. As Ona grew older, she was expected to learn to be a seamstress, an expert sewer, which she did indeed become. But at some point during her teenage years, she became the preferred slave of Martha Washington. She was tasked with the most intimate of responsibilities. She would help Martha Washington bathe. She would brush her hair. She would sew her clothing. She was there 24/7. She was always present, but...
Okay, so you get the point of that. I don't want to play the whole video because you know how people is with their videos, but you get the point of that. It was a slave that was tasked with doing everything, bathing the wife, bathing him. He wound up, getting some of that good chocolate. He wound up tasting chocolate and got hooked on it and chased this girl from north to south. Okay, now let's look at some things that are happening today, because I have a lot of people telling me, it doesn't happen today, So let's look at some shit that's going on today. Now we got some shit going on today. Let's look at these instances from today. That's going on modern days, because people tell me this shit ain't going on today.
Teacher who perhaps believed in the flag so dearly they were willing to fight for it. That would be how MAGA would headline the story. But again, that's not us. So let me tell you the real deal here.
Educational.
A teacher accosted a teen for refusing to pledge of allegiance. Is this not incredible? It's kind of like what gangs do. If you don't follow the gang rules, we're going to attack you. You do it our way, right up to the gang signs. Marissa Barnwell's her name, 15-year-old student at River Bluff High School in Lexington, South Carolina. She says she was physically assaulted by a teacher for refusing to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Wow. Okay. And might I say, she looks like an angel. I don't know if she is, but that's how she looks. And if she doesn't want to say.
Now, we got people beating up white. We got little black girls getting beat up in school for not wanting to say the Pledge of Allegiance, which is legal. You don't want to say the Pledge of Allegiance, you don't have to. That's not a form of privilege. That's not a form of privilege. Okay. Now, I'm going to play how this news anchor reports it. Then we're going to play how another news anchor reports it. And I want you to tell me, I want you to figure out the difference yourself and put it in the comment section. Or I want you to see if you notice the difference too.
Teacher who perhaps believed in the flag so dearly they were willing to fight for it. That would be how MAGA would headline the story. But again, that's not us. So let me tell you the real deal here. A teacher accosted a teen for refusing to pledge of allegiance. Is this not incredible? It's kind of like what gangs do. If you don't follow the gang rules, we're going to attack you. You do it our way, right up to the gang signs. Marissa Barnwell's her name, 15-year-old student at River Bluff High School in Lexington, South Carolina. She says she was physically assaulted by a teacher for refusing to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Wow. Okay. And might I say, she looks like an angel. I don't know.
Okay, now y'all heard how she reported it, right? You heard that, right, bro? You heard that? Okay, now listen to how this guy reports it.
In Lexington County, as a family there is suing a school district after they say an employee put hands on their...
Suing a student after they say, bitch is on camera. But you trying to change the narrative and say after they say... Yeah, see, you did. The first lady reported it as it, and the story as it is. A teacher put her hands on a student. The way the story is, he reports it. Oh, the parents say that they did it. We basically reporting it as we don't know if it happened. The parents are saying that they did it. Bitches on camera. Let's not forget about the little boys in Africa. The little boys in Africa who got beat up. They tried to drown them. Little boy just was murdered. And the guy got away with it. Basically, the same kind of situation as Trayvon Martin. What about that? Here it is. Here it is. 13-year-old little boy shot. White people. I made this video because of this situation I'm talking about right now, about this whole white privilege and shit don't exist.
13-year-old boy is gunned down in Columbus, Ohio, and the man who does the shooting says it's self-defense, and that's good enough. It goes away. Let's tell you more about that case.
A man shot a 13-year-old boy and said it was self-defense. Now, what the fuck? What type of, what 13-year-old was you fighting? The incredible, and you look at this 13-year-old boy. Does this 13-year-old boy look like you would need self-defense? Bro, come look at this shit. Did that look like you need to get self-defense gun to defend yourself from that little boy? Now, I am 5'9.5", 5'10", 135 pounds soaking wet. I wouldn't need no goddamn gun to defend myself against that little boy. But this is what we're seeing today. Little black boys being murdered every single day. And you know what the excuse is? Self-defense. I felt threatened. That's all they have to say. You don't call that privilege? A white man can murder a black person today and have no consequences behind his actions. All he has to do is say he was threatened. And there's a huge possibility that they will get away with it. If you can deny that, put it in my comment section. I want to hear with you how you deny that. And I want you to explain to me how that's not true or possible. A white man can shoot a black man and say it was self-defense or say they felt threatened. And there's a huge 80 to 90% possibility that they will get away with the crime, especially if it's a cop. I dare you to dispute that. And okay, let's give another example. You say racism don't exist. Not even the police are safe. Hold up. Not even the police are safe. Yup, not even the police are safe. It is crazy. Is black officers getting pulled over, shot. Look, this officer, a detective got pulled over. Local police chief says he was racially profiled by officers. Lawyers allege video CPD officer confronting black woman walking dog. Woman was walking, can't even walk her dogs. I wouldn't have thought this nigga was FBI either, though. I'm gonna keep it a bean. This nigga look like a straight African. Look at this nigga.
Yeah, you're
You
wrong.
saw this video, right?
That I'm not.
I would have thought this nigga was FBI though, either. Though. I'm not. Just to be fair.
You're Jake.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought he was FBI.
You're Jake. Get out my face, man. You guys are harassing me. Yes, you guys are. You're fucking harassing me. Yes, you are. No. He's harassing me. Why are you harassing me? You're assuming I'm someone I'm not. No. I'm free to go. Okay. I'm getting detained. Yeah, you are.
The crazy thing about this, if this dude is undercover FBI, you just blew that man cover. You might have blew a whole investigation that they probably been working on for years, and you just blew it. Being a racist.
I'm not. So what? I don't have a voice. You have the wrong guy. You're very wrong. Okay. No, you are wrong. What do you mean if you're wrong? You're wrong. You're wrong. Hold on. No. Hold on. You guys are not going to try to manhandle me. I'm not under arrest. I didn't do nothing. For what? For what? Can you tell me for what? For what? I'm under arrest for what? No. If you got the wrong guy, I'm suing all of you guys. Let me get your card. Can I get your card? Okay. I'm not standing up. Listen, I'm not under arrest.
Not even the police is sick.
Hey, yo. Hey.
Madeline,
Hey, officer.
what?
Wait, no. Wait.
You being physical, manhandling a man for what? What's the point of all that? Just make yourself feel.
You got the wrong guy. I'm showing y'all.
Wrong ID, motherfucker.
You guys still got the wrong guy. You guys are fucking stupid. That's not you. You guys are racial profile thinking I'm somebody. I take both of you motherfuckers. Take them cuffs off. Sir. I got them. Take them cuffs off. I'll take both of you motherfuckers right now.
He is tripping though, antagonizing. They could have killed him.
Take the cuffs off.
They definitely could have. They could have went left. They could have went a lot worse than this. You know. We lucky they didn't have overinflated egos, because they could have went left. That situation could have definitely went left with him talking the way he talking.
For me, y'all
I just shut up and let him reach in my pocket, and then be like, let me get your badge number.
Grab his fucking watch.
You are stupid. I don't know how y'all got the wrong dude.
I'm gonna
That's
talk
like
to your
anybody
sergeant.
can become a cop nowadays. Yeah, so you guys really had no other choice to do? You guys really had nothing else to go to college for but be a cop and harass me? To assume I'm somebody I'm not? My ID's in my back pocket. Watch how funny this is. Go ahead, look at it. No, don't hang me. Look at it. Oh, what does that say?
Fucked up.
What does that say?
FBI.
Oh.
Wrong guy.
Oh.
Wrong guy.
Oh my God.
That nigga was FBI. I know. Look at this. Look at his face. He know he about to lose his job. Look at his face. He don't even want to look up from the wallet. He like, oh that's that oh shit face. Joe, can I talk to you over here for a second? That's that. We need to regroup. Let me talk to you over here for a second, Joe. We fucked up major this time. Yeah, go take the cuff off this nigga. We gotta apologize, and hopefully he don't call the fucking chief, cause we about to get fired like a motherfucker in this joint, bro. Somebody help me. Somebody call somebody. I don't know who to call, but just call somebody. Somebody please help me. What the boy say? Help me, please. Or next Friday, help me. Hey buddy, help me, please. Dude don't even want to look up from the wallet. Look. Dude, no, he can't look up from that. Look, he's still looking, dude. He's stuck.
Bro, you fucked up.
Look, he's still looking at their wallet. Let me take these cuffs off this nigga. Oh my God. My pension. What am I going to tell my wife when I get home? You go, yo, bro, you definitely get it. Somebody got suspended.
Your supervisor over here. You guys are the stupidest motherfuckers.
You want to talk to the supervisor? Ooh, you gonna
I ever met in my life. How'd you guys?
the whole everybody that's in the facility.
Get him. Tough guy. And this guy here.
What do you mean? I look like him. I need your guys. I need your guys right here. Sir, can you please tell me, are you the supervisor? These guys are listening for comments. They assume I'm someone that I'm not. I told them I'm not who they think I am. And they said, nope, you are. I'm positive you are. So, I need their cards. I need your card. I need your card. I need your card. No, yes.
I I didn't hear none of them all say, "Let me see your ID to prove that you're that person." In the beginning, did you hear him say that? I didn't hear. Let's go back. I didn't. Not one time did I hear them say, "Well, let me see your ID to prove that you're this person." I don't remember saying that.
Yeah, you're wrong. You're assuming I'm someone that I'm not. Are you Jake? No, I'm not Jake. You look like Jake. There you go. I look like Jake. Yeah, but you're Jake. Oh, yes, you are. You're Jake. Get out of my face, man. You guys are harassing me. Yes, you guys are. Hey, you're fucking harassing me. Yes, you are. No. He's harassing me. Why are you harassing me?
Yeah, ain't nobody asking for no IDs.
No. I'm free to go. Okay.
You just telling him he's somebody without asking, "Can I see your ID to prove that you're not?"
That's an illusion. You think.
Stand up, put your hands on your back. No ID. No nothing. He just went straight to stand up, put your hands on your back. You're the guy. I know you're the guy. There was no, "Can I see your ID to make sure that you're not the guy?" That could have prevented a whole mess from happening. You could have been downy, quicker, picker, upper if you would have asked him for that ID. But you didn't. You assumed that he was him. Hell bent on it that he was the guy. Didn't even ask him for his ID. Went straight to get up, put your hands behind your back. Oh, wait. Can y'all check my ID?
No, you are wrong. What do you mean if you're wrong? You're wrong. You're
not
wrong.
even the FBI is safe. If the FBI ain't safe, what the fuck make you think that we safe? Now, I'm not trying to pull any race cards. If you watch this to the end and you see this, you would know. I'm not trying to pull any race cards. And I'm not trying to make us a victim. I'm not trying to complain. I just wanted to show you that it's very real. It affects us. Today, still. You're still living off the benefits of what happened. And we're still suffering from the benefits that you gained off of our work, our ancestors' work. You think the mentality that you beat into my great-grandparent didn't trickle down to my grandma, and then trickle down to my mom, then trickle down to me? You think that didn't? I think some of the people need to think, because when the Jewish people speak on their pain of the Holocaust, which they have every right to do. The Holocaust was a terrible time. Fucked up time. Would not want to go through that. When they talk about it, they're not victims. They're not victims. But when we talk about it, we're victims. Ain't nobody holding them back. We're being held back every day. We get the worst schools, the worst foods, the worst jobs. And we're never going to get past this until we put it out in the open and we talk about it. That's the only way we're going to find common grounds, in my opinion. But that's all I wanted to say. Let me know how y'all feel about it in the comments section. That's how I feel about this situation. It took me a while to answer it, but I finally, took time to answer this. But that's my stance on this whole situation. Definitely let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Make sure it's on all so you can be alerted and notified whenever I drop this heat. If anybody would like to donate to the channel, the Cash App is going along the screen at the bottom. I gotta get on out of here. It's your boy, the one and only Bring This Baby, Remy L, my aunt. You were just tuned into my aunt TV. I see y'all when I see y'all. Until then,
you better be careful, little buddy.